Yo, 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 hello. End of 2022. Hope you all had a good year. 2022 was amazing for music for me this year. I found some amazing music. And so what I thought, because I've been watching videos, I like this time of year because people do roundups of all the music they've been listening to. And it's great because it gives me some new things to look at, some things that I hadn't considered earlier in the year. So I thought I'd like to share what I've been into. I'm going to do the top 5 albums that I'm into. So I've set myself some parameters. First of all, it's got to be released 2022. It's got to be a brand new release. Second of all, I'm going to do full albums because there have been some amazing EPs, but I'm going to go with full albums that have got, you know, that I've really enjoyed this year. And thirdly, no repeats if people have released double albums, double EPs or whatever. We're just going to go with one of those to make sure there's a bit of a mix. It's actually been really hard for me to break it down this year. Like I said, there's been so many good releases. I made a quick list before I filmed this of some of my top 2022 albums, and leaving some of them out has been really hard, but I think 5's enough. You don't need to hear me rattle on too much. This list is in no particular order either. There's no real hierarchy. They're just albums that I've enjoyed throughout the year. 5 to 1. It doesn't matter what order they're in. I'm going to start off with the album Unison Life by BRUTUS. Check out BRUTUS. They are an awesome band. I discovered them a few years ago. They played in my local town, luckily, and I've been able to see them a few times since at festivals and things, and they are amazing live. And they released a new album, Unison Life. They're a Belgian band, 3-piece, and the drummer, I think her name's Stephanie. Oh, let me check. Yeah, Stephanie. She's the drummer and vocalist, and then the bassist and guitarist fill in the rest. They're awesome, and the reason I like this band, check out the album, but the guitar work especially, the way they use effects and space and dynamics is amazing. As a 3-piece, they sound absolutely massive. And I was excited when I found out they were releasing something in 2022. I was really excited because I genuinely liked their previous stuff, and this album did not disappoint. So BRUTUS, Unison Life, check that out. Awesome album. The next album I've loved this year is a band called ZETA. They're a Venezuelan band. I discovered them a few years ago on a YouTube channel called Audio Tree. I think it was Audio Tree Live, and they did a live set, ZETA, and there was a track called El Rompeolas, I think, and that song, it's amazing. They're like punk, Latino, fusion, jazz, jam band. There's just so many different styles, and the album they released in 2022, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, so I apologize for any any Spanish speaking people here. Todo Bailado. It means to dance it all, and I saw one of the guitarists talk about the meaning behind it, and it means to dance it all, you know, through life, whether there's positives, negatives. In Venezuelan culture, South American culture, they dance through any highs and lows, and I really like that euphemism. Not great for me because I got no rhythm whatsoever. So I like the idea. I will dance through it in a mental way. No one needs to see me do any dance moves. But the reason I like this album, Todo Bailado, I'll put the writing somewhere so you can search it up. It's an album in quite a true sense. Lots of music nowadays, the focus is on singles. Get singles out, you know, sling out a load of singles, group them all together, we'll call it an album. Whereas this, you've got to listen to it from top to bottom. It definitely, not to sound cheesy and cliche, but it definitely has a rhythm and flow and a story to it. It feels like there's a reason that the songs are in the way, structured in the way that they are. And just the free form style of the music and all the different flavours, and it's just awesome. Such a good listen, and I love this band. And I know they're based in the USA at the moment, and I hope I hope at some point they get to come to the UK, because I would love to see this band live. They just, I've watched live performances and they look amazing. But yeah, ZETA, however you pronounce that, check that album out. So many cool rhythms and flavours on there. Album number 3, I'm gonna go with Phototroph by Moontooth. Yeah, Moontooth are a band that I discovered this year thanks to my wife. Actually, she was listening to something and I was like, what is that? That sounds amazing. And it was the song, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it was the first track on the album, I Revere, and I was like, this sounds amazing. To me, it sounds like metal, proggy, rock, but just really awesome songs. I do like some proggy stuff. I appreciate awesome musicianship, but I think a lot of modern, particularly in the metal world at the moment, it feels like people are just playing stuff for the sake of playing stuff, and there's just loads of notes everywhere, and look how amazing I am on guitar, and that'd be great to stick it on Instagram, won't it? But the reason I like this album was that you can tell all of them are amazing musicians, and the guitar work's amazing, particularly in that first track and throughout the whole album, but it's really musical as well. There's just some awesome songs in there. The vocals are great, the bass, drums, all of them, guitar, fantastic. So Phototroph Moontooth is one of my top metal proggy albums this year. Listen to it constantly throughout the year since it came out. And I recently heard the guitarist became really unwell, and I hope that guy makes a quick recovery and gets back to full health. And eventually, hopefully, they can continue doing what they're doing, because they are an awesome band. And I've checked out their back catalogue since. Awesome band, Moontooth, Phototroph. Check that album out. Awesome. Album number 4. Oh, it seems horrendous to leave some of these out. I'll show you one that's a definite. Number 4 is Cave In, Heavy Pendulum. And I was lucky enough to get this album for Christmas this year on vinyl, so check this out. Cave In, Heavy Pendulum, also probably my favourite album cover this year. Look at that, how awesome is that? Now Cave In, I heard of Cave In from years ago. I know they've been around for years and years. I checked it out, 95 they kicked off. And I never really paid an awful lot of attention to them, but then they came out with a track called Blood Spiller, which I think is track number 2. Sorry, track number 2 on here. And I listened to that and I was like, what is this? This sounds amazing, who's this? And I checked out, I think they had a couple of other singles from this record. I absolutely loved it. So, some real heavy stuff, but some cool like dissonant notes and weird effects. With a bit of a, almost kind of like that old Jane's Addiction, almost like that Jane's Addiction style vibe to it. Real, almost grungy element. But this album probably has one of my favourite songs of the year as well. It's the last track, Wavering Angel. If you get a chance, listen to that song. It starts off just real sparse acoustic guitar, some cool little harmonies, and then it kicks in and builds up as the track goes on, and at the end it's got this awesome dual guitar solo that's just got a real cool vibe. Nothing crazy fiddly diddly, just cool music. And yeah, I've been listening to this album just throughout the year constantly. Cave In, Heavy Pendulum. Also, how awesome is vinyl? Like, if I had the money, I would just fill my house with vinyl. Yeah, unfortunately that's the only vinyl of all the songs that I'm mentioning today, but if I had the cash I'd just be getting vinyl. There's something about physical media, isn't there? I know I'm old, I'm an old man, and I do stream. I do use streaming services, I do use and on YouTube and things like that, but if and when possible I'll always buy the vinyl. There's something about being able to put that on, and it helps you to focus on the music as well, I find. You know, if you have something physical, you're properly investing in it rather than just clicking play, shuffle, you know, whatever comes on, but actually investing on it encourages you to listen and find out things that you might not necessarily hear if it was became background noise. And I know from personal experience, buying albums historically and currently, on repeat listens you might love a song that you hated initially, whereas nowadays if you hate a song you just don't like it, you never hear it again, so you don't get the opportunity to maybe find something that over time you might love. Anyway, I'm getting on my soapbox about that a bit here, but yeah, Cave In, Heavy Pendulum, check that album out. Right, and my final album, number 5, which I've left so many albums off here. I'm going to go with something a bit different. So a band that I've discovered called, again I'm going to pronounce this completely wrong, HERMANOS GUTIERREZ. I'm going to put the writing up here somewhere because I'm definitely saying that wrong. And the title, El Bueno y el Malo. I'm really sorry, Spanish people, Spanish speaking people, massacring your language there, but and it means the album name means the good and the bad. I discovered this album and this band. It's just two brothers who are playing acoustic guitars, traditional Latin Western kind of influence. I discovered it one night. I put on like a chill acoustic guitar mix and this track came on. I was like, whoa, what is this? And it was by this band, HERMANOS GUTIERREZ. It was just so relaxing, and I don't know if any of you play computer games, but basically this music reminds me of if you're just riding a horse on Red Dead Redemption through the desert. If that makes any sense to you, I think you know what I mean, but basically it's like listening to old Western acoustic music. No lyrics, just two guitars, some slide guitar chucked in there. Awesome, real, quite simple music, but just so chill, so calm. Sometimes I'll put it on like in the morning if I'm driving to work. You know, it's just a chill start to the day, but at any time, and it was such a good find. And I checked some of their old stuff. It's all pretty similar, but so good. Just the way I like that kind of acousticy, sparse music. Played a real feel. You can tell that there's a lot of heart and soul put into what they're playing, and yeah, that album definitely is one of my highlights of this year. So yeah, just something a little bit different. I've left so much off here, but I only wanted to keep it to 5 because otherwise I could just go on and on and on. But that gives you a bit of an idea as to what I've been into. I'd encourage you to check all those artists out, and please let me know what you guys have been listening to. I'm open to most things, as long as it's not heavily auto-tuned, because that makes my skin want to just run away, and then I cry if I hear that kind of stuff. But I listen I'll give anything a go. But these are the albums in 2022 that I've particularly clicked with, and I've enjoyed finding out about what other people are into. 2022 has been a really good year for music releases for me. Please share what you've been into, because I'm always up for discovering new things. Yeah, let me know your thoughts if you've heard any of these albums, and your thoughts on them. Have a great new year, and we'll see what 2023 brings. Take it easy, people.